Hi everybody, I'm going to give this a try again. Sorry about my technical difficulties this morning. Thank you for joining. If you're joining me from over on the other page, sorry about that. I'm going to start over so that nobody misses anything important. Welcome to Live with CAFA. I'm Krysta Roney from Shopify, and I'm going to be here to answer some of your questions on e-commerce today. I have some that were provided to me ahead of time, which I'll go ahead and answer. While I'm answering those, I'm also going to share some trends that I've noticed while working with businesses during this time. After I go through those questions, if there's time left, we'll get to some questions in the chat. My first question was, e-commerce was not my priority before COVID. What do I need to know now? If you were in the first stream, you heard me mention that I could honestly sit here and talk about e-commerce for hours and hours and hours. It's something that I'm really passionate about. It's something that you can get really creative with, and it's something that I feel has a lot of possibilities. But for now, I've decided I'm going to share my top 5 tips of what I think you need to know right now about e-commerce and your business. My first tip is don't wait for things to be perfect before you publish them. If you're just starting out your store, don't wait until you have every single product published before you launch your store. If you're an existing business, don't wait until you feel like everything's totally perfect before you launch it. One of the things that I've really noticed as a trend is a shift in buyer behavior. A lot of buyers and customers right now are really focused on supporting local businesses in their own local communities. So it's really important that you get out there as soon as you can so that your customers can find you and support you. Number 2 is if you've made changes to your business due to COVID-19, make sure you communicate this. You can do something as simple as an announcement bar at the top of your homepage. You could create a whole new page to keep your customers up to date. Maybe your studio is closed, but you're still offering virtual styling appointments. Maybe your jewelry store is closed, but you're still offering curbside pickup for local customers. Make sure your customers have access to that information. They want to buy from you, so make sure they can. My third tip is that you'll notice that there are a ton of different sales channels available. Your online store, your Facebook, your Instagram, eBay, List. There are a ton of different sales channels out there, and often a lot of people just starting out in e-commerce think that they need to be on every single channel, but that's not necessarily the case. Being a lot of places is a great way for more people to find you and become aware of you. But if you're looking for those really qualified leads of customers who are actually going to make a purchase, it's really important to spend your time and effort in the same places that they spend their time. So if your customer is a teenager, they probably spend a lot of time on Snapchat. So having a Snapchat account and sending Snapchats is a great way to connect with that customer. If your customer is a cool mom who's involved in a lot of Facebook groups, consider spending more of your time and your effort and your potential cash on Facebook. My fourth tip is that if cash flow is tight, which it is for a lot of people right now, you can generate a lot of traffic and engagement through organic marketing rather than paid ads. So think things like social media, like blog posts, videos, email marketing. Maybe you're a makeup artist and you post a 5-minute video on how to get the perfect brow at home. Search engine optimization, or SEO, is also really powerful. This is a marketing technique where you research keywords that your buyers use to find you and you inject them in different places in your website, specifically in your descriptions. That way, if somebody types that keyword into Google, Google shows them your site. It takes a little bit of time. It's a little bit of a time spend to do your keyword research, but it can be really, really powerful. A lot of people are really feeling the effects of remote life right now. A lot of us are home when we're not used to being home. A lot of people are really social and having a hard time being disconnected. A lot of us are really routine creatures who have had to shift our entire lives. Creating really personalized content for your customers at this time can help them feel really connected to you. And I'll share an example from just this morning. I was browsing Instagram and there was a post from my hair salon, which closed the day before my hair appointment. Very sad. But she posted a message this morning. It was just one of the staff members posting a little video from her kitchen, saying hi, talking about what she's been up to. It's a lot of Netflix. Saying how much she misses everyone and she's looking forward to seeing everyone again. And a reminder not to cut our own bangs or box dye our hair. It wasn't really an ad. She wasn't trying to sell me anything. But it was a really warm, engaging message that made me feel reconnected to her, even though I haven't seen any of them in person. So that's a really easy way that you can still be connecting with your customers while you're not necessarily seeing them in person. My fifth point is a really important one, especially if you're just taking over your e-commerce and you might not have looked at sort of the reporting, or a lot of the numbers can be a little bit confusing. An average conversion rate for an e-commerce store is 1 to 2%. That means for every 100 people that browse your online store, 1 or 2 will make a purchase. So don't panic if you look at your conversion rate and that number is low. If you're doing 2%, 3%, 4%, you're doing really, really well. If anyone's curious why that rate is so low and how they can improve it, it's a lot easier than you think. The main roadblock that stops customers from buying is a lack of trust. And there's really easy ways to build up trust on your website. So this is things like adding an About Me page and making sure your customers know who you are and what your story is and why you started this business. Things like a return policy and a shipping policy. And if those policies have changed because of what's going on with COVID-19 right now, it's important that you put that information in there too. Other ways of building trust on your website that don't cost anything include social proof. Social proof is also a really powerful conversion tool. So think things like customer reviews, or maybe you have an Instagram feed that shows all of your customer photos that they submit. Maybe someone went to your salon and had their hair done and they posted a photo of it. Putting that on your website shows social proof and builds up that trust, and that's going to help increase those conversions. I've noticed another trend in working with business owners who are just sort of starting to get online now. Running an online store can feel really daunting, especially if you're used to having someone else take care of it for you. I really want to reassure you that, especially with Shopify, it's not hard. You don't need to be able to code. I could not code a single line. Don't know how, don't need it. If you run into something that really needs coding help, we have an amazing support team that can fix it for you. But for the most part, everything is drag and drop or fill in. We really want it to be as easy as possible for you to get your online store up and running so that you can spend your time doing what you do best, designing, creating, sharing. So it's really not as hard as people think. I have had people start from scratch and launch an online store within 2 hours. It's really easy. We also have a really incredible wealth of resources available to you. Not a lot of people are aware of all of these, but we have Shopify Academy, which is a free bank of online courses, anything from how to advertise on Instagram, how to update your SEO, how to start from scratch. There's information on branding, email marketing, really any part of running an e-commerce business. Shopify Academy has free courses for that. We have help documents, we have YouTube videos, we have a live 24/7 support team. We're here to help you and you don't have to do it alone. The next question that came in was, how does Shopify help with marketing? I'm just going to take a sip of water because I'm running out of breath here. So Shopify integrates with a lot of different marketing platforms right from within the admin. And when I'm talking about Shopify admin, I'm talking about the back end of your website that you see, that you work on, that your customer can't see. So within your admin, there's actually a marketing section, and you can manage and run all of your ad campaigns right through there. It'll give you information about how they're doing. For example, you can see what sales were generated based on which marketing campaign. For those of you who aren't super familiar with digital marketing, things like Google Ads and Facebook ads, the way they work, give you your own little unique code that's called a pixel. So you take that pixel and you plug it into the marketing section of your Shopify admin, and it talks back and forth to that marketing platform. If you think about it, you and Google kind of have the same goal in the sense that you want to get the right information, product, website in front of the right person. So Google's going to read what's going on. Facebook does this as well. I'm just using Google as an example. So the Google Pixel will watch all of this going on. It'll pay attention to who's shopping in your store. It'll pay attention to who's buying things in your store and who's not. It'll show ads to different people, trying to get them to click through. And the really cool thing is, because you have the same goal, Google's not going to keep showing your ads to people that aren't clicking on them. So it's going to keep reassessing and reposting those ads and really trying to get those clicks for you. If this all sounds a little bit intimidating, we also have an app that can help you with this. This is actually my favorite Shopify app. It's called Kit, and I like to think of it as a virtual assistant. So you download Kit, it gets connected to all of your marketing and your Shopify store, and once it gets to know a little bit about you and your business, it will actually run and create your ads for you. So for example, once you've got it all plugged in and good to go, you would just text Kit from your mobile phone and say hi. And Kit would respond and give you some information about what's going on your store, give you some information about what people are searching. For example, it might say 7% more people looked at your outerwear line today. I recommend you run an ad on Facebook for your outerwear line and spend $25. It'll show you an example of the ad it wants to show. You can change the budget if you want to spend more or less. You can change the photos if you want to use different photos or highlight a different product. You can change where it gets posted. So you have the ability to customize that by talking to Kit, but Kit does all the work for you. So once Kit's created an ad that you're happy with on a budget that you are happy with, you tell it to go and it posts that ad for you and takes care of all of that. So if the idea of running your own ad campaigns is a little bit intimidating, we also have Kit that can help you out with that. The next question that came in was, do more people shop on mobile? Definitely 100% yes. Smartphone usage has gone up 400% in the last 4 years. This means your customers most likely browsing your website or reading your emails on their mobile device. We all do it. I would be willing to bet that everybody watching today has either read an email or looked at a website on their phone. The really great thing about Shopify is that our themes, which is what we call the layout of your website, how it actually looks, are responsive. So that means that it will read what device your customer is browsing on, and it'll show them the best view for that. That means if they're looking on their desktop, it'll show them the desktop view. If they're looking on their phone, it'll show them the mobile view. The next question was, can I easily move my store over to Shopify? Again, the answer to this is yes. So there's a couple of different ways you can do it. If you've spent a lot of time and effort building out a site somewhere else, for example, WordPress, and you just want people to be able to purchase your products or services, you can actually just add a buy button to that WordPress site. And what that does is it adds a Shopify checkout, and it allows people to purchase something and go through the checkout process on your WordPress site. There are also ways to migrate your entire site over to Shopify so that everything's there. We have a lot of help documents on how to do it yourself. We also have a really, really amazing vetted list of experts. You can find them by just Googling Shopify experts, and those are people that you can hire to help you with stuff like this. I just want to share a couple of things that Shopify is doing to help right now in case you hadn't heard about them. We have made gift cards available on all plans. This is a really, really easy thing to set up and get some cash flow still generating through your online store. If you can't sell your product or your service right now, you can still sell a gift card. Just released today, super exciting, is Shopify email. So we have our own built-in in-house email marketing software that's free for all merchants until October 1st. So that's a really great way to get started with some of that email marketing and start engaging those customers, or keep engaging those customers that have previously bought from you. We have local pickup and delivery options available. So again, if you've closed your retail store but you are still wanting to be open for pickup or delivery, that's something that you can set up. And we have weekly virtual programming on Shopify Compass. So I'm going to put a link down in the chat. This is our COVID response page from Shopify. There's a whole bunch of resources on there. There's also a link to the Compass webinars. So speaking of email marketing, I did one on email marketing last week. A recorded version of that's available if you're interested in checking that out. And this week we're doing one on search engine optimization, also a really great topic for you guys right now. So make sure you check those out if you can. We do them live, but we also record them, so you can go look at any of those anytime. There's tons of other webinars on there. There's lots of other teams at Shopify doing them. We just had an AMA with Damon John, if anyone's familiar with him. So there's lots of really great things going on Shopify Compass. Make sure you check that out and check out some of the resources. I also want to share one more link here. This is a blog post that we wrote that's specifically for retail brick and mortar businesses, some strategies in response to COVID-19. So there may be some things in there that you can implement as well that would help you. Does anybody in the chat have any questions? That comes to the end of my pre-planned questions. Is there anything else I can elaborate on? Anything I didn't touch on that you want to know? Anything at all? I'm an open book. No questions, it's quiet in there. Okay, what else can I share? I've seen a lot of, one of my most favorite positive things to come out of this is I've seen a lot of creativity. So don't be afraid to think outside of the box and pivot your business completely. A really great example of that, it's outside of your industry, it's in the food and beverage industry, but there's a local distillery in my town. And normally they make vodka, gin, and moonshine. And during COVID-19, they've totally pivoted and turned into a hand sanitizer company. So they've taken all of their operations and completely switched it and turned it into a hand sanitizer company, which is obviously something that we really need right now. So don't be afraid to get creative and think out of the box. Just because you change something now and maybe you switch up what you're offering, it doesn't mean you can't go back to the other way. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it won't be better. A really great example of that is my role. I'm a local community manager at Shopify, and normally my role entails going out into my community and delivering this kind of content in person. Obviously, I can't do that right now, but now I've found ways to deliver the same content virtually, and I've actually been able to reach a wider audience. So don't be afraid to get creative and pivot a little bit. I see a question in the chat here. How long are the free courses on Shopify? If you're talking about the Academy courses, they're free forever all the time. And we're constantly adding more on there too. So if you go to Shopify Academy, you'll see at the top all of the pre-recorded courses. If you scroll down to the bottom, we're always adding new ones too. So it's always good to go back and check and see what they've added. But those are free for you all the time. can you access Shopify courses without having a website or an account with Shopify? So it will ask you to sign up for a Shopify ID, which is basically just a user account. It doesn't mean you have an online store. There's no billing, nothing. It's just sort of like a user account, the same way as you would have on a website, and it just allows you to keep track of your progress. Do I have any favorite apps I can recommend for your stores? Well, like I was talking about, my favorite app is Kit because of the amazing power it has in marketing. I don't have time to research what people are Googling today, so it's really handy that Kit does that for me. Other apps I really like, I'm really excited for the Shopify email. That's a really big one. It's going to be for that, and you can really customize and brand your emails, which is going to be beautiful. What else do I like? There are a couple of really cool ones right now for local pickup and delivery. So check out Zapier. I'll type it in the chat here. I think that's how you pronounce it. They have a few different families of apps for local pickup and delivery that integrate with Shopify, and they're offering 45-day free trials right now. So that's a really great way of getting that set up on your website. My website, personally, I have a couple of different calendar and event apps. So if you are a service instead of a product, I use Calendly. I'll type that out too. A lot of these have really funny names. Oops. Calendly is really great for scheduling your time. Yeah, those would be my favorite Shopify apps. Does anybody have any questions? Actually, while I'm talking about the App Store, I should mention, when you're looking at the Shopify App Store, you'll notice two different categories of apps. One were created by Shopify, so those are free all the time, supported by Shopify, which means if you have an issue, you can call our support team and they can help you with that. The other side is the third-party apps. So they all integrate with Shopify. They are just created by third parties, but we have all of the information for you to be able to contact those third parties if need be. Does anybody have any other questions? I'll put a link to Shopify Academy too, so that it's easy for you to get to if you want to check that out. Let me just get that up here. Make sure you check out those Academy courses. If you are using Instagram as one of your social medias or your sales channels, I highly recommend the Instagram course. It's super informative and there's a lot of really great tips that also don't cost you any money. All right, if there are no more questions, I hope I was able to provide some useful information and to inspire you guys to give it a shot. You've got this and we've got you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Live with CAFA. The next episode is going to be hosted by Jenny Bird, jewelry designer and CEO behind award-winning, celebrity-loved brand Jenny Bird. She's going to be taking over CAFA's Facebook Live this Thursday at 12 p.m. EST to share her global brand strategies for resilience during COVID, tips for putting your business on the path for rapid recovery and growth. Jenny will discuss topics including shifting from reacting to acting, seizing the opportunities a crisis brings, and deepening stakeholder relationships despite the physical differences. You can send your questions to Jenny in advance, confidentially, to live@cafawards.ca. I'm going to spell that out for you. It's live, L-I-V-E, at cafawards.ca, CAFAWARDS. That's all for me. Thanks for tuning in, guys.